The staple is a guy in a full square jumpsuit and a new bat with a hat and parts for his stick. Our long-term goal is to filter all of our jellyfish in-house. In fact, jellyfish produced in captivity tend to survive better in captivity than their wild-caught cousins.
Coral reefs have thrived for thousands of years.
Hey everybody, Kyle here, another episode of Game Time. A little bit different for this video. It's more of a response video. I was tagged by my buddy and fellow Cartridge Club member, Musty Hobbit. I'm going to provide a link to his channel in the description below. This is kind of a new discovery as well. I started meeting him on our Tuesday night Cartridge Club Hangouts hosted by Cartridge Canuck. Link in the description below to his channel too. So I'm kind of newer to his channel as well. I recently subscribed myself, and he has some great videos very similar to this channel. So if you like what you're watching, you like my channel and like what I've done in the past, I think you'll like Musty Hobbit. Pretty good guy, and he has a great collection and pretty good hair. Actually, we look a little similar. So anyway, he had a video that he tagged a few of us in. Honored, actually. Well, yeah, I'll say honored. It really is a little bit of an honor to be tagged alongside Buried on Mars and the Mighty Q Dog and Mrs. Q Dog. I think Ramvox was in there, a couple others. And that's really cool because those are channels that I really like and respect, and I always try to watch whatever I can on YouTube as well. I like all the stuff that they do. So it really is a little bit, just a tiny bit of an honor to be mentioned right along with them, because those are channels that I look up to as well. So anyway, his video that he wanted us to be a part of was our top 5 nostalgic games that are very nostalgic to us. And on my channel, I've never really done a lot of top 5 or top 10 lists. I think a lot of other channels do them, and they do them pretty well. That I just kind of avoided that. I always like watching them because it's interesting. It really lets you know the person a little bit more, kind of what their favorite games are and things that they're into. So I do like watching them. I just never got a chance to really make any myself. Maybe I will here in the near future. But I thought this is a pretty good topic, top 5 nostalgic games that are to us. So I have a list right here. I'm just going to go through them and just talk about each one here just for a moment. So we'll do that. And keep in mind, these aren't necessarily going to be the most famous games or well-known games or beloved games by many. I'll disclaimer, I don't have a Legend of Zelda game on here. I'm sorry, I don't have a Halo game on here. So I grew up in really growing up a lot with the NES and Atari. I don't want to make me sound older than I am, because that was sort of in the early to mid 90s. I got more into video games kind of during the Super Nintendo versus Sega Genesis era, when those two systems were really popular. It's kind of when I was in grade school and growing up with that. But I had an NES, and going over to the grandparents' house, they had an Atari 2600. So theoretically, I did grow up with 80s consoles, but it was about a decade later. So we have 4 out of our top 5 lists are going to be games on NES and Atari, with the exception of this one right here. Number 5 on my nostalgic games list is Bomberman 64. I did a Hidden Gems video for this not too long ago. You could probably scroll through my channel playlist and find this. Just a couple of videos ago, actually. First game I got for the N64, I only had the NES in my house prior to that. So this was really my first experience going into the 3D realms. I didn't have the PlayStation. For a lot of people, I think it was Mario 64 or some of those early shooters like GoldenEye or Doom, Wolfenstein. A lot of PlayStation games as well. But it took me a little while to get that. I did get Mario 64. It was about my 3rd or 4th N64 game, but it all started with Bomberman 64, and this is the only game I had for the N64 for quite some time, so I played a heck of a lot of that game, but always enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun to play, and the battle mode was still one of my favorite Bomberman battle mode games, and there's a little bit of a story there. It's a little, cheesy, but it works. I mean, I think it works pretty well. I think it's very overlooked still to this day. Number 4 for me is on the NES. I was a big DuckTales fan back in the day, and I still proving that I'm a huge fan. I still have the original box and book for DuckTales 2. I know the cartridge itself is very valuable, and I have the, still have the original box and the instruction book, and the original sleeve, so shows how big of a DuckTales fan I was. I only had this game. I didn't have the original DuckTales until quite some time later, when I got a chance to get on eBay early on and buy games through that. Is only when I got the first DuckTales game. But for me, I played a lot of DuckTales 2 on the NES, and lots of good memories coming home from school. My elementary school was just a block away, so I just walk home or run home, and I always played a lot of these games, and DuckTales 2 was a favorite. So lots of good after-school memories with that, and I was a big fan of the cartoon. Still am. I really do like that DuckTales cartoon series. I'm glad that they are bringing it back. At the time of this video, they are talking about bringing some modern DuckTales to us. So I'll spit it right down here. So I'm really excited about that. Really big fan of DuckTales. If you get a chance to do that remastered one for like PS3 and 360 Wii U, do so. It's really good. Number 3 is an Atari 2600 game called Pitfall 2. As I mentioned, the grandparents had an Atari 2600, so anytime I get over there, and they looked after me a lot, especially during the summer or days that I might have had off, and mom was at her job and everything. Lots of good times playing Pitfall 2, but what makes this a little bit more nostalgic for me, I remember my grandmother, she actually played a lot of the Atari games, and they're pretty simple, so that's not too weird to hear, but they were pretty simple. But she was pretty darn good at Pitfall 2. I always liked sitting back and watching her play it. Nowadays, looking back on it, she wasn't all that great, no offense, but back in the day, she was pretty darn good in my head at this game. And this is the very same copy. So, and I'm a huge fan, and my modern me really enjoys Pitfall 2 because I can appreciate how great of an Atari game this is. The music in there, it's a whole map you can explore. It's really quite an impressive game to get on the 2600. It really is. Definitely ahead of its time, and I think everyone loves Pitfall, the original one, but not a lot of people talked about the second one. I'm like, this is one of the finest Atari games you can get. So, number 2, actually before I do number 2, I do have a little bit of a cheat here. I'm going to do a nostalgic arcade game. This was back in our mall. We had a place called Aladdin's Castle. They were a little bit more Namco themed because their tickets always had like Pac-Man on them, and they had a lot of Namco arcade games. But I remember distinctively, this was 2nd, 3rd grade for myself, back when this was new. And I got the Genesis version, but I really am talking about the arcade version of Mortal Kombat 2. This was back when it was in the arcade. And I really do remember, literally, it wasn't a huge line, but I remember lines to play this Mortal Kombat 2. They had it front and center, so you could see it when you walk by. People go in there and play Mortal Kombat 2. It was so cool. And I didn't get a chance to play it a lot in the arcade. I did, but it's usually with someone else, someone usually much bigger than I. And, they always beat me within very, very quickly. But I loved it. It was great. I was a huge Mortal Kombat fan growing up, mainly due to Mortal Kombat 2 in the arcades. So, and a big arcade fan since then. And Mortal Kombat 2 really, that was something. I don't need to ramble on about how awesome it was seen for the first time. And especially going back because I got a chance to play a little bit soon after I seen that, the original Mortal Kombat. Like, wow, the second one improved on it in every single way. More characters. It was gruesome. It was cool. It was creepy, and everything. It had those hot ninja chicks, Katana, Melina. Still kind of have maybe a little bit of a crush on them still to this day. So, Mortal Kombat 2 in the arcades, a nostalgic arcade game for myself. Number 2 nostalgia game is a game called Kickle Cubicle. Again, I did do NES Hidden Gems on this one, kind of showing off a little bit what it's about. And really what makes this nostalgic for me is, again, little Kyle. When I would visit my aunt and uncle, he had NES as well, and he had a number of games, and this was one that we always enjoyed playing. Unfortunately, in 2014 now, he was at work and was killed in an accident there, and it was pretty upsetting because he was a big gaming friend. We always enjoyed playing a lot of NES games, Mario Brothers and Tetris, some Donkey Kong, and we'd go on vacations. I'd tag along with him and my aunt, and you know, we just travel a lot, and yeah, it was very unfortunate. But quite some time before that, you know, they were getting rid of a lot of things, so I had a chance to get his NES collection and about a dozen NES games several years ago. And you might notice I have two NESs here. One was mine when I grew up, and one was my uncle's. So I still have them still to this day. And lots of fun memories. This one always stood out because it was unique, and we had a lot of fun times playing this particular game. So that's why it's very nostalgic for myself as well. Kiko Kibiko. That, and it really is a fun NES game. I highly recommend it if you get a chance to see it. It's really great. All right, I have my number one right here. Before I do the number one game, I just want to get two honorable mentions out of the way. And actually, I don't remember where I set them. They're gone. No, they're right here. I've just been putting things. I always, it's hard to pick just five, but honorable mentions just real quick for the Game Boy Cool Spot. I always enjoyed the Cool Spot games. I played a lot of the Game Boy game growing up. And again, like I was talking about when I come home from elementary school and stuff, hopping down, playing the NES right away, either by myself or with a friend or two that might have come over. And Mega Man games were favorite. We enjoyed Mega Man games. I wasn't very good at them back in the day. Still kind of not good at them. But Mega Man 5 really stood out quite a bit. And this is a pretty valuable game, I guess. But I'll never trade it in because it has a lot of nostalgia for me. Actually, they all do. All the original 6 really do. But that 5th one was most played just because I thought it had some of the fun, more of the fun stages and bosses. So number one for me may come as no surprise. This was my very first video game. Grandparents got me the NES for my birthday, I think. I don't remember the year. It had to be like 92, 93. It was right around in that time period. But it came bundled with Super Mario Brothers 3. And this is number one for myself. Again, with the uncle, we played Mario Brothers a lot, especially the first one with Duck Hunt. That was probably maybe my first game I ever played. Super Mario Brothers 2 and 3. I always liked 3 the best. We played a lot of 3 together. And when I got my NES, on my very own NES, this was the game came with it. I played the heck out of this game. And I still have another Mario 3 up there. And again, one was his copy as well. So can never trade those in. Those are priceless to me now. So lots of fun memories with Super Mario Brothers 3. Still love playing it every now and then. I'll get some friends over and we'll pop it in because it's still a great game and one of my favorite games of all time. And there's a lot of reasons why. You know, first game that I ever had, playing with the uncle back in the day, lots of great memories there. And he really helped get me into video games, especially those early NES ones. So salute to him on that. Miss you, Dave. Otherwise, that's my list. Yeah, I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna leave a link in Musty Hobbit's channel. You can find the video that he has shoot and tagged myself along with some other club members in. I have yet to watch their videos when I'm shooting this one just because I didn't want to be influenced anyway. So from his particular video, you can check out who he tagged and go from there and see what a few of the other tagged YouTubers think their nostalgic games. So thanks everybody for watching. Check out Musty Hobbit's channel and check out Cartridge Canuck's channel. Lots of great time hanging out with them. He likes to do them every Tuesday night on a Google Hangout session. A lot of fun. I love all those guys. Hope to meet them all at some point, hang out with them, have a drink or two with them, and just interact. It's fun. It really is a great club to be a part of. Link in that description below as well for the Cartridge Club website. You can find out all the information from there. Really honored to be a part of it. They're all super great guys and gals. I don't know what else to say. That's really a great group to be a part of. So thank you, Musty. That was a great question, and hopefully you enjoyed this video. I think I rambled on too much, but it was a great topic. I enjoy your channel. Subscribe to Musty. He's great. And yeah, we'll see everybody in the next video. So thanks for watching.